Hey guys, okay, new thing. So apparently the Pokemon company has been going by popularity the last couple years, as in this particular case as of Black and White, that they've been going on character popularity throughout the series. So based on that, it means that we're going to have a lot of new things when Ash travels to the Alola region and catches his new set of Pokemon. Now, I'm going to go with what I know about Ash so far, and then I'm going to go on what he has when it comes to traveling companions. So, first, I'm going to start off with his Pokemon. Now, we know that Ash has not caught a Poison, Steel, Fairy, or Ghost type since his debut back in the 90s. Now, that's pretty basic. Now, that list right there opens a whole new thing for whatever amount of Pokemon the Alola region has. Now, since the last trailer we got only revealed the names of your traveling partner, well, not your traveling partner, your rival, your professor, the professor's assistant, all that good stuff. Didn't reveal anything else except the legendaries names. So that's pretty cool. But still, as far as I know for now, I know two things. One, I have a feeling I know exactly how they're gonna go with Ash catching the Pokemon in his region, in this region, I mean. And by this standing point, considering the only starter from Alola region that is having very negative reviews as it stands is Poplio. So with that being said, this leaves Ash to catch Rowlet and Litten and keep them throughout the series. Now, other than Unova, he has not caught any other starter, and the only reason he had a Greninja in the current series is due to the fact that Greninja was the highest rating starter for Pokemon X and Y. Now, like I said, they're going with popularity here, people. So, given the fact that between the two Alola starters, Rowlet is the most popular out of the three, and Litten is second, and then Poplio is dead last. So this means Ash is going to work with not only Pikachu, of course, but Rowlet, Litten, and whatever Poison, Fairy, Steel, or Ghost-type Pokemon they decide to add into the region. Now, if Ash does, in fact, go down this road, this actually will clarify a couple things. Now, the reason I'm saying this is just to point out a simple fact. Now, Fairy-type was actually... I'm not trying to be sexist, but a lot of people realize that Pokemon only created the Fairy type because the demographic for Pokemon in general is more than 65% male. And I'm not trying to be sexist about that. That is actually the statistic for Pokemon in general, that the demographic of players is male for video games. The higher percentage is for females playing the TCG game, which is pretty cool, but still. So they developed the Fairy type to entice young girls, since the demographic of Pokemon is to be the ages of, 7 to like 18 or whatever. But that's just the basics. So aside from the current Pokemon that I think that Ash will catch, other than Pikachu, because unless they decide to drop that bombshell, which they be like, okay, Pikachu, you've been with me since the beginning, but I think it's time you rest or whatever. And Ash starts way over and goes to catch a new Pokemon, and he actually has to go through the whole scenario again, catching another Pokemon. But with that being said, Ash will actually have a total of 4 Pokemon by the start of his region, which is going to be pretty cool because we saw the Rotom Pokedex, which is a amazing addition to the game, which means not only will Ash have a Ghost type, depending on if this Rotom Pokedex is actually a Pokemon you can keep, or, it's just in the Pokedex or whatever, but that will leave Ash to have Pikachu, Rowlet, Litten, and Rotom, which is badass, because that covers Ash catching the Ghost type. That actually is a pretty good thought pattern if you ask me. But that's just my opinion. Not like my opinion matters. Everybody's got an opinion. But anyway, now on to the travel partners. Now, aside from, I'm specifically speaking on Ash's past travel partners. Tracy was not a good traveling partner in my opinion, because his main objective was just to, follow behind Ash and draw Pokemon, while Ash and Misty are, doing their thing in the front lines, while he sits in the back and draws, that goofy stuff. So aside from that, I think it's the popularity of every traveling companion that makes Ash want to continue, which made me think that in X, Y, and Z, made me think that Ash is going to meet May again at a certain point before the season is over, due to the fact that they released Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which, like I said, is still pretty cool, for the simple fact that, let's think about it. Ash does not have a relationship with any of his other female companions other than May, Misty, and Serena, which are the main three female protagonists that he actually has a friendship and a somewhat relationship, quote unquote. Now, other than that, Serena is the main candidate for this, for the simple fact that she actually shows deep feelings for Ash. Whenever he strides forward or whatever he succeeds, she likes it. She loves it. It turns her on. Talk about really nasty. I'm kidding. But for the simple fact that Ash is actually developing these great relationships, catching all these amazing Pokemon, and still managing to keep, a cool head, even though he himself is somewhat of a bit of a dunce, if you will. And thinking of it like this, if you look at the concept, if you look at the graphics for Pokemon Sun and Moon, it shows a female protagonist that looks a lot like Serena, or it could just be a new protagonist in general that Ash will probably meet over in Alola, which is I don't really care, to be honest with you. But I think aside from having Silent and Iris, which the demographic is too similar to Brock and Misty. Silent is the cook who tries to reference everything that happens in the world by a flavor or type of food or whatever. While you have Iris, who's just like Misty, insults Ash from time to time, but still holds him close to her, but still reminds him that he is a little kid to her, even for the simple fact that probably some of you didn't know this, but Ash is actually older than Iris. Iris is actually younger than Ash by a couple months. So this is actually something that, they don't want to point out, but if Ash were to point it out, he probably would have shut down Iris like a couple times by now. He would have probably shut her up about this whole, you're a little kid thing. But like I said, that's besides the point. That's why in Pokemon Black and White Unova Adventures, they did these little filler episodes of Iris going her own way, Silent going his own way, and then ironically meeting people that have already had a companionship with Ash, such as Silent meeting Brock after him and Pansage were attacked by a Gyarados or whatever. Brock comes out the woodwork and say, yeah, I'm gonna help you out, blah blah blah. And then you have Iris, who later on catches a Gibble, which, just like her traveling companion, has one, and which is kind of cool to a degree. And yes, I know I'm not talking about Dawn because I don't want to speak about her specifically, because the reason I think that Ash does not need a traveling companion, for a number of reasons, is for the simple fact that Ash does not need that balance, because Ash has his Pokemon, he has the Pokemon he's becoming friends with. He doesn't need extra people in his universe, for the simple fact that they're going to take him over to do a contest, do a little whatever the hell it is. Like with Serena, like I know for a fact that there's going to be like probably at least maybe 30, or there's going to be at least maybe 15 or 20 more episodes before the X and Y series is over completely, because of the fact that Serena still has her journey to be Kalos Queen. Ash is still on his journey to become Pokemon Master. And you got Clement and Bonnie, who will probably go their own way shortly after them and Ash, depart, which is pretty pretty basic if you ask me, because to me Clement is slightly annoying for the simple fact that this running gag of his inventions never working is kind of tired, to be honest. Like, it's more than tired, it's more just flat out annoying. Like, I'm tired of seeing it. And the same with Bonnie. Like, for the fact that they go so far to make Bonnie have a connection with a ancient Pokemon, that even though Bonnie is technically too young to catch said Pokemon, it really doesn't stop, Clement from, giving Tyrant, like when Bonnie befriended Tyrantrum, it wouldn't have hesitated if Tyrantrum was a wild Pokemon. It wouldn't have hesitated for Clement to just, say, here, Bonnie, I'm gonna let you hang on to Tyrantrum for a while. Like, for the simple fact that they went that far to let this young girl, who is still too young to be a trainer, have this much of a connection with the Pokemon and not be able to keep it at the end of the game, at the end of the episode, is a bigger middle finger to the audience than anything else. So that's why I feel these filler episodes, these OVAs that they try to squeeze into the middle of the anime, is completely uncalled for. That's why I think when it comes to popularity, when it comes to development, history, all that good stuff, aside from every female and male companion Ash has had, I'm not saying I don't want to see him have a companion. I'm saying I'm tired of seeing him have a companion, because of the fact that Ash has been in this for, it's been 20 years, but clearly Ash is still 10. Wow. But for the simple fact that Ash is capable of traveling through the region by himself without overexerting himself to, say, okay, I see somebody in trouble, I'm going to jump in right quick. And aside from Team Rocket, they're going to probably follow him to the Alola region, probably try to fuck with him, and it's going to be just one big mess up again, blast off, sending their asses out to the sky, then they fall into the ocean somewhere. Basic. But aside from that little bit, I think that when it comes down to the type of Pokemon Ash is going to have, I'm standing by what I mean when I say Ash's first 4 Pokemon will probably be Pikachu, Rowlet, Litten, and Pokédex Rotom, because they have not said if you can keep said Rotom in your Pokédex or whether it's a Pokemon you can actually keep. So I'm just going to leave it at that for an optional Pokemon. And as for his traveling partner, as it stands right now, because you've already seen the trailer, you've seen the female characters, the female character, she looks slightly like Serena, which means that Serena is probably, a matter of fact, I'm not going to say probably, given the fact that her development history is a lot longer than any other female companion that he's had thus far. This means that Ash is going to probably travel with Serena and whatever companion that they try to throw in his little universe shortly after, maybe a couple weeks after Pokemon Sun and Moon come out, when the next anime starts. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.